Yesterday, Brent and I had the opportunity to go to an event sponsored by the Lighthouse Foundation. And it was an event to teach how to be a better ally to people of color, and specifically LGBTQ people of color. And there was a list of things as an ally, things that we should remember, kind of things that we do that we shouldn't do, and things that we do that we should do more of. And as you look at this list, there are some things that are reminders, some things that are rather disturbing. And one of them was about this focus on the written word, how sometimes people will put an overemphasis on the written word over humanity. And then there was another one about how white folk will say, or non-LGBTQ folk will want to hold on to their comfort, right? They'll think of the right of their comfort. And so as I'm looking at this list, first of all, as myself, I can't look at that list and not think, oh, yeah, guilty, been there, done that, yeah, I've done that, right? It's not that I have to shame myself or flog myself, but yeah, okay, we gotta be real. It's like reading the book White Fragility, right? And say, oh, yeah, okay, I guess I am a racist, right? Again, doesn't mean I have to shame myself, doesn't mean I'm out there screaming epithets and doing things like that, but by definition, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a racist, okay? So when I look at this passage and I think of the times of Micah, for example, and John gave us a great introduction of him being a contemporary of Isaiah, and this is a time getting ready for the Assyrian exile, right? You've got two kingdoms, and the northern kingdom is about to cease to exist as the Assyrians are about to wipe it off the map. And Micah is warning the people, and then you've got this great dialogue happening. And when you think about it, there was a lot going on that looks like the things that are going on today, because you had the dudes, and it was the dudes, it was men in power who had privilege, who were making the rules and speaking for God. And they're saying, here's what God says to you, O people. And they were writing it down as the Word of God, right? And so here, O people, here's what God says to you. And this was hearkening back to what God had said before. This idea of manifest destiny, we'll call it, right? When God said, okay, I give you people this land of Canaan, this land that you'll eventually call Israel, and so if the Amalekites and the Moabites and all of these people are in your way, cut them down, kill them, every man, woman, and child, wipe them out. This is the land that I give to you. Interestingly, here we stand today with people who look like me, right? White, heteronormative, cisgendered, straight males, who are people of privilege, who make the rules today, who write the laws, and say, oh God, you gave us this country through manifest destiny, and so aren't we doing a wonderful job? We are protecting what you have given us. We have created our borders. We have protected them. 70-some years ago, people from the East tried to challenge that. And the people who were here on our soil who looked like them, we incarcerated them to protect what you, oh God, have given us. Today, people are crossing our southern border, and oh God, we are doing your will. And so we put them in cages, and we deny them adequate medical care, so that they might, I don't know, if they just happen to die off, that's the will of God, that's nature. Let you do your work, oh God, that's not on us. And so we see these things playing out again, and again, and it's disturbing. And somehow we just think it's destiny, and we accept it. But how can we not be bothered? And so when we read these stories, building walls, Muslim bans, but yet somehow patting ourselves on the back, saying, God, aren't we doing a great job? Are we being great stewards of what you have given us? Aren't we living into your destinies that you have gifted us with? Bless us, O God. For aren't we being right and good human beings? But then we come across this passage from Matthew, the one I haven't read yet, where Jesus says, let me tell you, O people, when he stands before the crowds and he went up to the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him, and then he began to teach. And he taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Persecuted the prophets. We've said it in here time and time and time again. We love to kill our prophets. MLK Jr., we've named lots of prophets. Edgar Evers. That's what we do. We kill our prophets. Time and time and time again. We did it to Jesus. We'll do it again. We revere those who oppress, who marginalize, who other. But if somebody comes along and dares to speak against this, and speak words of humanity and what it looks like to be a humane human being, we shoot them. We lynch them. We nail them to a cross. How does this make sense? And so we come on this scene with Micah in this argument, this trial, as John said. And we have human beings claiming to speak for God. If God dwells within humankind, and within all creation, as is the case, if God is within us, then how is it possible that God could speak words against humanity that should be written down to last forever? It doesn't make sense. And if it wasn't right then it can't be right now. For people to legislate things that are against humankind. I just read this morning that there's a law waiting to be passed in South Dakota. Some of you may have just heard this, that would make conversion therapy permanently legal in South Dakota, right? That it would ban any type of for example, restrooms that are, right, all gendered. Anything that is LGBTQ friendly would be completely banned in South Dakota. How is that okay? And how is it that that sort of thing could be legislated? But again, people of privilege who have not known struggle, who have not known oppression, who have not known marginalization, are going and trying to make rules. I know it's doing it again. It's like men trying to legislate